So you're thinking of investing in real estate in Medford, Massachusetts, but you don't know where to begin. In today's video, I'm going to break down what you need to look for in Medford if you want to buy, say, a multifamily property to rent out, how you want to approach it, and a little bit more. If you guys don't know me, my name is Jankowitz. I'm a real estate agent based in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I focus on Cambridge, Somerville, and Medford, Massachusetts. I've closed over 400 transactions in the last 5 years. If you have questions, there's a calendar link in the description below. Please take a second to like and subscribe in this video, and I'll see you guys in a second. Now, the first thing when we're thinking of investing in Medford is we need to understand from a renter's point of view, how are they approaching the search? And if someone's looking in Medford, there's a good chance that they're sort of fall in one of three buckets, okay? The first bucket is they want to commute to downtown Boston, and that's going to be your biggest bucket. And, you know, Medford unfortunately doesn't have the same level of commuting as some neighboring towns, but they do have the West Medford commuter rail. They do have the new Tufts Green Line extension, and there is the Ball Square T-stop. So that's the first bucket, and that's by far the biggest tenant pool bucket. So my first piece of advice is whatever you can do, try and buy properties that are 15-minute walk or less to any of those T-stops. If you just do that, you're ahead of 90% of the game. The second bucket is you will have your reverse commuters. And what you're generally going to find is these are people that they drive to work every single day, whether it's roommates or family, and they're just full-on drivers. These people generally are looking for a discount on price, so they will often pay less than a premium if they're buying in Medford and it's not walkable to a T. So generally, if you're going to focus on these type of renters, it can be a bit more challenging. Your property generally will take longer to rent. Rental values will be lower. They'll increase at lower rates. So generally not my favorite way to go. So as I mentioned previously, it's really important that you target areas that are walkable to the T. So again, just to reiterate, that would be the West Medford commuter rail, the Tufts Green Line stop, or the Ball Square Green Line stop. Ideally a 15-minute walk or less to any of these areas. And again, you're ahead of 90% of the game. Now, West Medford, generally it's a commuter rail station, so it's not a T stop, like a subway T stop. So the result is that there are some renters that will prefer the T. So your tenant pool will drop off a bit, but it's by far way better to be close to a commuter rail stop than no stop at all. So still a good plus. You can still get quality tenants. I've rented units with really solid numbers to really quality tenants year over year in West Medford. You'll find rental values are pretty strong. They generally increase, as do property values. So I think it's a very strong place to invest if you want to stick to Medford. One of the big benefits of actually investing in West Medford is you're going to find that you're going to get significant discounts compared to neighboring Cambridge and Somerville. Similar property types often will go for 100 to 300K less compared to a Cambridge or Somerville equivalent. So if you're on a tighter budget, if you want to be an owner occupant, there are some great options in the Medford area where you can get a pretty solid investment, pretty solid returns, pretty quality tenants, pretty good value product, and still be able to commute to the areas you need to go to at a fraction of the cost. So I'm a big fan of Medford. I actually live in Medford myself, but West Medford in particular is a good place to go where it's a little bit less competitive and you can get a pretty solid bang for your buck. The next place I want to talk about is around the new Tufts Green Line extension. Now, there's a little pocket here that is very walkable to the new Green Line, and it's frankly one of my favorite areas to invest. And one of the reasons why is it's extremely affordable. You know, I meet a lot of clients and they say, Sage, I have 900K, I want to invest in a multifamily. Well, the reality is Cambridge and Somerville are basically out of the picture. It's just not going to happen 9 times out of time. Honestly, 99 out of 100 times, most likely, unless you're going to flip the property. So you really need to be in Medford. And if you're going to be in Medford, buying in some of these parts of town close to the new Tufts T-stop is an excellent place to invest. You know, between $800,000 and $900,000, you can be walkable to a T-stop. You can attract quality Tufts grad and PhD students, as well as some commuting young professionals. So you have a quality tenant pool. Sometimes you can get into a situation where you have a PhD house, where you have PhD students that are basically there for 4 or 5 years, then they cycle through to another group. So you can have low turnover rates. For all those reasons, this can be an excellent place to invest, especially if you're on a budget. So definitely don't knock Medford, especially the Tufts area. It's a great place to invest in. And the final area that I'd recommend investing in within Medford is the Ball Square T area. You know, this is right on the Somerville line. Some properties, of course, are in Somerville, others are in Medford. A great place to invest. The biggest challenge here is that prices have gone up a lot in the last couple of years and continue to do so. So generally you will find that things are quite competitive, although I will say they're always going to be less competitive than the Somerville line. There's something with the Somerville name, people always pay a premium for it. So you can basically get the benefit of, the distance to the ball square T-stop that these Somerville properties get the exact same rents, but get a discount on price. So for that reason, I also think Ball Square is great. It's probably considered the most desirable of these three areas in Medford I mentioned, and it's going to be the most expensive, but I still think it's an excellent value in the long run, especially on the Medford line as opposed to the Somerville line. In general, I think of Medford as a town that is wildly underappreciated. US Census in 2021 listed Medford as the 15th fastest growing city in America, so it's rapidly changing and growing for the better. We have these new T-stops with Ball Square and Tufts. We have Tufts, which helps support the population with a strong group of tenants that are excellent for investors. It's also a very central location, easily drivable to Cambridge and Somerville, downtown Boston. It's a 15-minute drive to Logan Airport, easy access to Route 93 for your reverse commuters and downtown Boston commuters as well. So it's a very convenient area, and what I love about it is you get all or most of the convenience of Cambridge and Somerville, but at a significant discount. So if you're okay where you don't have to step outside and everything's right at your fingertips, but you can drive everywhere in 5-10 minutes, to me, Medford is an absolute no-brainer. Again, I live in Medford. I think the value is awesome. So I think it's a great place to invest. If you guys have questions about investing in Medford, particularly you're thinking of selling a property, 1031ing into the area, give me a call. I'm happy to chat through some options. If you have other questions, there's also a calendar link in my description below. Hope you guys like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.